All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you guys all so much for stopping by. If you don't know, my name is Eli. Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days in which I answer any of your guys' burning questions about what is going on in the Pokemon market. Today's conversation is obviously going to be based on the previous video that I posted about, talking about the best Pokemon product that I think people should be paying attention to when picking up in the lead up to Black Friday. Now, as mentioned in the video, this doesn't mean necessarily I think that you should 100% pick it up right now. Patience is always going to be a virtue, but there's going to be some opportunities, so definitely waiting. But before we jump into it, as always, we do weekly giveaways. All you have to do to enter is leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. And then lastly as well, let's give a couple shout outs to those that are right now in the chat. Department Store, Senpai, Pika Pika, Tori, Michael, Charizard, RD, and Package Total. Thank you guys for stopping by. Really do appreciate it. And one other thing as well, forgot to mention. Once again, if you don't know, we're going to be doing the special on November 1st. How it's going to work is we're going to drop a link for people to go sign up, make an account, and then we're going to then give a specific amount of people access to the discounts based upon what we have available for the transferring of the membership sale to wholesale program. So right now we're sold out, but we'll be opening more sets then. But cool hat. Thanks. I appreciate it. I got it on my honeymoon when I was at Alani. But hopefully everyone is having a happy Tuesday. Hopefully we're having a good day. Anything exciting to really start off when it comes to our conversation? Main thing, I guess, looking at Paradox is now officially listed and available. I mean, it's always been kind of like listed and available, but more so now. Prices are starting to become visible. We'll wait to see what the images are going to look like here in a second. But for the singles, Paradox boosters have also gone up a little bit, which is funny to see because, I mean, you guys remember the decline of this going from 144 and then just continue to drop. And now it looks like it's started to find a little bit of footing. I mean, who knows how that's going to lead up in the next week or so. But I think this more or less has to do with the leaked photos from Paradox, if you guys don't know. So we're going to take a look at Paradox full set list. Guess I got to specify Paradox Rift. Justin Basil should have it available fully. Okay, cool. We have it full. So we'll take a look and see at some of the cards for those that are curious as to what we're going to expect. Got a couple cool art designs with the Crustal, Dottler, I know people huge fans of. And you can go to Justin Basil's website for visual art designs if you want to look. I love that Snover art. I think that's such a cool art design. Plusle, Minum, Blitzel, Groudon. The Groudon's so sick. I love that Groudon design. Yveltal is also pretty cool. So we've got quite a bit of pretty cool designs when it comes to the overall just the regular character subset. I don't know how I'm feeling about the Hydreigon one. I like that they have the Aipom claymation though. I love the bringing back of some of the Aipom or the claymation designs. I think that's sick. I was always a fan. Then you have just, your regular full arts and Terra type Pokemon. Nothing crazy there. Hey, look, Rourke. Hey, throwback Gen 4 fans. And then outside of that, you obviously have your SIRs, which is going to be, Charizard with a crown. Garchomp with a crown. Gallade. I don't think. Salamence is going to be cool. But the Gallade, the Garchomp, and the Salamence are going to be the three best, probably. But the Garchomp, even then, is so disappointing because of the hat. It's kind of annoying. Gold might honestly do better for the Garchomp. Who knows? I could be off on this one. And then, finally, we've got our waifu SIRs. I will be interested to see if these are worth something. I mean, I would personally like to think that there's going to be some waifu, but I could be wrong. What's up, FOMO? Good to see you, brother. Sup, Eli Roger says, safe to say 151 PC ETBs are a no-brainer. The PC stamp promo is almost at MSRP of the ETB. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't realize that. Yeah, they're definitely a no-brainer for sure. When I get my embroiderment machine, want a new hat? Hey, that'd be sick. I'd be totally down for that. What's up, Sergio? Good to see you, brother. And Package says, same. I also love the claymation. Yeah, no, I mean, the claymation arts are super duper cool. I don't know, man. At first, I thought this set was going to look really sick, and I was kind of excited for the set just based off of the fact that we knew what characters we're going to be getting out of it. I think it could have been some cool designs with the Gardevoir. Could have been cool designs with the Salamence, the Garchomp. I feel mixed. I would say it's definitely... I mean, it's far and away better than Obsidian, right? It's far and away better than Base. I would say that the art designs are... I don't know. I like Paldea art designs quite a bit. But I mean, at least there's more to love in this set than there is in Paldea. I will say that. If we go take a look at Paldea as a set and we compare the two... Paldea, you do have the Garchomp, the Magikarp in the set. You do have the Iono in the set. You do have the Chinpao, which is really cool. You've got the Tyranitar. So there's definitely a lot of really cool cards in the set in terms of hits. However, as prices obviously have adjusted, a lot of cards really just kind of dipped. Versus Paradox, at least from what we're seeing so far, I mean, I would say the main one that kind of stands out the most is probably going to be the Groudon. I can see the Groudon being the next T-Tar. I don't think it's going to be Magikarp level expensive, but I could see it being really good. I mean, the Apom, I think, could surprisingly be a sleeper just based off the fact that the claymation is super collectible. People love claymation art designs. Other than that, I don't think there's really any of the subset cards that are going to be worth a crazy amount, if I'm being honest. That's just my kind of belief when talking about the illustration rares. I mean, full art Pokemon are just full art Pokemon. No one really cares. We could see, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be right. We could see some waifu value here. I don't know. You guys will have to tell me more than others, but I'm thinking the Salamence, Gallade, and Garchomp are going to be three good cards. I don't know how I like Altaria, right? I like Altaria. I don't know if this Altaria card's going to sell. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to sell, but we at least know we have a history of these three potentially being extremely strong characters where Altaria can or cannot be a strong character. It really just depends. But yeah, I'd like to think this card is going to be stupid expensive, but I could be wrong. And then you're going to have some of the golds, which, I mean, they'll probably be worth something because of, you know, them being main hitter chases, kind of like with the Golden Charizard. So, but I could be wrong. Who knows? I mean, this is all speculative, but I would argue this is slightly better than Paldea as a set, but it doesn't feel that way right now, just based on the fact that it just feels like this set could have been so much more, and it feels like I think the expectation for Paldea was already so low. So when for myself coming into it, I was like, this set is much better than people think, right? But I already kind of anticipated that. Versus with this set in particular with Paradox, I'm over here like, man, this set I feel like could have been really good, but it's just like slightly better than Paldea. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm more or less thinking when looking at this set. In terms of card arts that are expensive, I mean, here's the deal. This is so off right now. One, we don't have pictures. And then two, I mean, the values of these cards are just all over the place. I think we'll start to see something change going into next week. That's kind of what my belief is. I think once we hit next week, we'll start to see a change in what we're expecting in terms of what's going to be the main chases. Sergio says definitely a mid-set, lacking a lot of original Pokemon as the first in a couple of gens. Yeah. I'm sad as a Garchomp fan. I'm really sad. I love Garchomp. Garchomp's one of my favorite Pokemon, and this is a Pokemon card that I don't really care for. I don't really care for this card. I just don't really care. What's up, Hash? Good to see you as always, brother. Roger says Paradox reminds me of Battle Styles for some reason. I can kind of see it. Because it's like, I think the reason why it reminds you of Battle Styles is because obviously you had Single Strike and Rapid Strike versus this is kind of future versus past. So it has like a kind of dual archetype, you know, competing with one another. And that was kind of a big thing that was pushed during Battle Styles. So I can see that. What's up, Plevosaurus? Man, I feel like it's been a while since we've seen you. Good to see you, brother. Poke Department Store, how are you feeling, Eli? Confident and comfortable. What the heck? That sounds like an ad for underwear. What kind of question is that? That feels like something I hear. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. How am I feeling? I'm kind of tired. I'm feeling good, but I still need to record a video for tomorrow, and I still have so many other things going on as per always. Paradox is obviously shipping out, so I've been dealing with that. It's a lot, man. I've been dealing with a lot, so when am I not dealing with a lot? But we're in this back end phase of getting everything transitioned onto a new website, right? And setting up memberships through the website. And so for myself, once we kind of get that up and transitioned, I'll be feeling much better about things, having to stress out about that less and less meetings and getting the website set up. And then I also have some other things I'm working on, automations for shipping so that I can make my life easier when it comes to the shipping process, along with we just recently hired a new person and trying to take care of that. So, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good, I would say. Just a little tired and overworked as per usual. Let me know if I can be of any help. Yeah, of course, man. I mean, it's funny. I mean, I can always use more help, but I'm always so bad at communicating recently because I'm getting messages so often. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll get back to you. And then your message gets buried. I'm not you, just people in particular. Hey, Eli, glad you're back and congrats again on the marriage. Thanks, Don. I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, definitely glad to be back. That's for sure. It's definitely been a long time coming for me to come back finally. And once I get everything kind of situated where I've got a lot of people handling the back end of things for the program, I really want to focus on trying to do more in terms of content related things. That's the goal. Yeah, they should have gave the Charizard and Garchomp good backgrounds. They look like a background from a regular full art card. You know, that's the thing I feel like a lot of people are the most frustrated. Like, obviously no one likes the crowns, right? Like, the crowns are stupid regardless. I think the thing that really upsets people more so than the crowns is the fact that there's nothing to distract from the crown, right? And that's the most infuriating part about it all. Because you look at it and you say to yourself, wow, it is with the art design ever so present what they're showing. Like, you can see the crown very clear. It's not being hidden, right? And with the Charizard card, the crown is also very much ever so present. So people just hate the fact that the crowns are being shown. And who's dumb? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to get on a rant. I just can't believe the crowns. I can't believe. How do you botch an art design so bad? So bad. Whose idea was it? Like, you could have literally made the Pokemon the way they are, but take away the crown, and it would change everything. Because if it's just crystal looking Pokemon without the crown, super sick. You add a crown, dumb. You take away so much. That is true, Dawn. I'm definitely excited about that. Hash says, once the websites are squared away, what will come of the Patreon membership? Will we have to go in and end the membership, or will that happen automatically? Yeah, so that's a great question, Hash. What the plan is right now, and this is something I'm getting set up with Alfred, and we're going to announce this first with you guys that are currently in the program before we open the new spots. But we are going to have everyone, I'm going to send a hyperlink where people are going to sign up for the program using the hyperlink. And then once that is done, we're going to then charge people, or we're going to give people a specific membership, because we can actually add that to people's accounts, so that way people will have the capability of whatever option it is that they're paying for within a specific tier. And once that's kind of set up in place, then it should be kind of automatic for everyone. And then what we're going to do is then from there, once we have everyone transitioned and set up, then we are going to be obviously offering for those in the $100 and $115 tier the discounted rates, and we'll transition that over for them. And then we will cancel the Patreon membership on that end. But we want to make sure everything's transitioned over for the program by the 1st is more or less the idea, and before we open it up to the rest of the public for the special deal. That's kind of what the general idea is going to be. And the membership itself, since we're going to be transitioning from one over to another, and everyone's payment dates are obviously all so different, we're still trying to logistically figure out how we're going to go about charging people. If they've already, let's say that someone already paid on the Patreon, right? And then they're transitioning over, right? How are we going to, are we going to double charge them? Are we going to charge them twice and then refund them? Are we going to refund them the difference? We're still trying to figure out the best way to make it so that people are not going to be overcharged for time. If anything, we'd prefer it that they actually get a couple weeks of free Patreon membership stuff or wholesale program membership stuff. But Alfred's the one who will be definitely helping with that and explaining it. Any plans on adding more spots to the Patreon before the website drops? That's a good question, Ripper. I honestly don't think so. I don't think so that I have any intentions right now, just because it was obviously one of those things where we had a couple of spots left over for people that wanted to get in, and so that was nothing new, right? And then now that we're sold out, I want it to definitely be something where people are just going to be aware. I mean, I could be wrong, right? I may or may not add a couple of spots. I mean, who knows? It might make the transition smoother. It might not. I just want to figure out some things logistically first with Alfred before I decide to open up any more spots, because we want to at least make sure the transition is going to be smooth. Yeah, I don't. I just got married too. Tattoo ring, only $150 each. Oh, you just got married? Dang. Well, congratulations to you, man. Tax bracket drops because my wife doesn't. Hey, there you go, baby. That's what you like to hear. That's so funny. Congrats. I didn't know you got married. Wow. The crown makes them look like selected fonts. That's tough. But how would people be able to differentiate the elements they terrestrialize into if they remove the crowns? Oh my God. That's so easy, dude. That's so easy. I mean, you definitely don't have to have the crowns in order to do that. You can easily take this exact same art design, remove the crown, and people would know that it's a water type. Because one, you have the water background with the water crystallization of the Pokemon, and then it says water type at the top. You could do that without taking the crown away. right? Or with taking the crown away. What's up, Forrest? Hey, Eli. I plan to keep buying 151 single packs into Paradox Rift release to complete my master set. What are the specific cards from 151 you're most bullish on into the future? I would say that in terms of 151, well, you're asking me obviously the question of singles, right? And I want to preface by saying singles obviously way different than sealed because it's more speculative. So take everything I say with a grain of salt here. I honestly think it's crazy to me that Erica's Invitation is cheap as it is. Now, maybe I'm ignorant and she's a lot harder to pull, or she's a lot easier to pull than some of the other big hitter cards, but I think that I anticipated Erica to be $100+ card. Now, here's the deal. 151 is going to continue to get printed. UPCs we're going to get more of, and same is more than likely going to happen with the ETB, so I'm not personally going to be picking up singles right now because I think that they're just going to keep getting cheaper and cheaper. But if there's one that I think I'll be very bullish on in the long term, it's definitely going to be Erica's Invitation because waifus have always performed really well. I have not, Don. No, I have not, brother. I definitely need to. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, no, I'll definitely have to look into it. If I'm being honest, I'm lazy when it comes to cooking. I need to do it, dude. Personally, gotta skip this set. It's trash from a collecting standpoint. I hear it's great for the meta for competitive play. That could be huge. I mean, ultimately, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that when it comes to competitive play, I know a lot of people are like, I don't care about the competitive game. Who cares about the competitive game, right? The reason why I care about the competitive game, because what is better than opening up a brand new set and having a lot of the value be subsidized by common, uncommon, and rare cards that are competitively viable? The reason why I was opening Paldea when it first came out was because a lot of the cards were worth so much money out the gate, and you were able to actually like break even or slightly make money depending upon how your luck was on Paldea, depending upon if you're getting it at wholesale, which is what I was obviously buying it for. This is different from if you got it on pre-release, which you could have, honest to God, probably made even more so money. Because the Iono card was crazy, right? And the Iono is going for $3 right now in terms of the common or uncommon version. Then you've got the Jet Energy, which is going for almost $2. So you've got cards that you can pull. And I understand statistically it's not a high probability. But if you just say I subsidize $10 off of a box, I'm paying, $90, $95 to get, you're going to get guaranteed SIRs in each set. You're going to get guaranteed specific holo cards that are going to be worth a certain amount. Being so that you can get a lot of really competitively viable cards is really important when it comes to hits. I think a perfect example of this would definitely be either Rebel Clash or Sword and Shield Base. I want to say Base might be a better example, but I could be wrong when talking about uncommon and common cards. So the main thing with this set is that when it first came out, man, Evolution Incense cards, I mean, the just absolute destruction of this card. It was worth so much money when it first came out. I mean, Evolution Incense were going for at least $1 a piece, right? When they first came out. Driziles, $4 to $6. I mean, just crazy amounts of money is how much they were going for. Quick balls were going for $1 plus. Obviously, they've got multiple prints. Metal saucers were going for 50 cents a piece. Rare candies and switches were going for 20 cents a piece at the time. Plus, air balloons. Air balloons were going to 75 cents a piece. Crushing hammers were going for 75 cents a piece. I mean, when this set first came out, you had so many competitively viable cards that were worth so much money. And so it was really nice because you could feel confident in opening this set. And sure, it's got not really a ton of great cards that you're going to find as main hits, but at least you're not going to get completely wrecked because of a lot of competitive viable cards, right? Same thing is going to apply here for everyone's favorite Rebel Clash, not trash. It is trash though. If we take a look at the cards for this one, talking about common uncommons, main thing is scoop up nets. Guys, remember scoop up nets? These cards were going for $6+ a piece. I mean, this is just how much it was back in November. It was even like at its peak worth way more in value. But now that it's been rotated out, obviously the cards are not worth anything. From the competitive format, Galar Mines were also training courts. I remember were going for like $3 at one point. Same with Galar Mines going for like $1 plus. Horror and speed energies were going for 50 cents to $1 at one point. I mean, you had capture energies. Capture energies were upwards of $2 to $3 a piece. These were going for a crazy amount. I think the high being $4. I could be wrong on this one, but yeah, I mean, you can't really see it on the charts because they've been out of rotation for so long and they got multiple prints. I'm just talking more or less when they first got released. A lot of these items worth so much money. So I think that it's important because you take a look at sets such as Rebel Clash and Sword and Shield base and you're like, man, terrible cards that you can, hit and there's no value for the main hits, but at least there's value in the bulk, right? Versus you take a set like Paradox where it's entirely possible, right, that we could end up getting some cards that are going to be worth some value, right? Oh, looks like Mela is one of the highest cards you can get. Wait, that's weird. Did that just happen? Oh my god, it did. That literally is hilarious. Yeah, and the first sale happened today. So there you go. Mela is the highest card. Who would have guessed it in value? So you're going to have some cards in this set that are going to be worth some value, right? You're going to have some waifus. You're going to have some other Pokemon people are going to care about. And you're also potentially going to be having competitive cards within the meta too. This could make it to where the set itself might feel mid to a lot of people, but there's going to still be a ton of value because there are going to be some big characters like waifu, Mela cards. Wow, Mela, this is the okay. Wow, I'm actually surprised she's going for the $100+. But okay, isn't this something lady? Isn't it lady card? I think is what this is. I can't remember what the name of this card is. I'm surprised it's the Mela that sold for $100. Really? Well, that's interesting. So, but anyway, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, this is pre-sale, right? This is pre-sale. Who knows what's going to happen in terms of the overall value. Check the announcements hash. That'll be your answer. What's up, Tanner? Important question today. I can either get a Lost Origin booster box from my local game store or a Fusion Strike case from Pokemon Center. The Lost Origin booster box case should be about $80 less, give or take. Okay, so can you give me? I'm really confused, Tanner. What is the price you're paying per booster with Lost Origin? That's kind of what matters. I wonder if Parasol Lady. Thank you. Oh my god, I couldn't remember what her name was. I remember it was Lady in the name. I would like to believe so. Honestly, it kind of stuns to me that Mela at least just had a large sale. I think that the person who did that might be crazy, but I could be wrong. I think Paradox Rift's a cool box to buy into at $90, but I just rather buy into Sword and Shield era stuff. I mean, it depends. Are we asking from... I mean, here's the deal. Okay. I will be opening a couple of cases of Paradox and seeing what the value is. And I'm going to probably do a value breakdown of how much I was able to get out of it per the cost I was paying for booster, because I'm paying $90 a booster right now. So it'll be interesting to see what the value is going to come out to with this set. But when you're paying, and here's a lot of things people don't really understand, I feel like. For a set like Paradox, right? Where we know there's going to be competitively viable cards. Where we know there's going to be cards that are going to be of value, right? If you know you can get this by street date and maximize the potential value of opening it, it is still a set worth getting for the purpose of potentially making money. And I know a lot of people might be saying, whoa, Eli, that's dangerous to say. But like, depending upon the set, there is totally times where you can make money on release or the night of pre-sale if you don't have access as a storefront. Because I've done it multiple times. Paradox, or not Paradox, but Paldea being one of the few sets that I've had that happen. Scarlet and Violet base, I was able to do that with because Nest Balls came into play and the hit rates were absurd for the pricing of what a lot of the cards were going for at the time. You couldn't really do that with you couldn't really do that with Obsidian, shocker. I don't know. For Scarlet and Violet, I see more opportunity in Paldea Evolved. It was cool. Pikachu promo has lots of value overall. Right now, it's still pre-release prices on Paradox. I'm still iffy. I 100% agree. We don't know. This is pre-sale pricing. This is all speculative. I'm just saying, based on if history repeats itself, you're assuming that one of these waifus is going to be worth $100+, and it would not surprise me. Not to mention, too, if we're also looking at it, Groudon, this card feels very eerily similar to the Tyranitar. Just in the overall design, and Groudon is arguably just as popular as a Pokemon of the Tyranitar, and so it would not surprise me if you saw something like this end up performing just as well as the Tyranitar did when it first released, where it was selling for, I mean, at its high point, I could have sworn it was selling for like $40, but maybe it's not represented on a smaller time scale. But, I mean, for you to get that with a regular character rares are really good. And then whatever ends up happening with the Garchomp, the Gallade, and the Salamence, we'll see with that. Parasail Lady. Yeah. Mela, best character in the game. See, people are going to hate me on this, but I still have yet to play the new games. I'm just one big... I just haven't played the new games. There was a lot of negativity with the graphic design art. There was a lot of negativity as well behind a lot of the characters introduced. And for myself, I just kind of was turned off by it. I know people say I should try out the game, and I don't know, maybe I'll do it one of these days when it's on discount. But I still have yet to play the game. Sword and Shield wasn't that bad though. Tulip. That's so funny. Are we going to have more opportunity to pick up Paradox through distro? I have people wanting more. We should at some point have opportunity, Sergio. The main thing is right now is obviously if we're trying to get it at a specific rate. That's kind of the main thing as it stands when it comes to Paradox. Because obviously with the new distributor and trying to get it at $87 versus $90, it just depends on what people are willing to pay, if that's kind of what it is. So you're saying $130 for Lost Origin? That's a terrible price to be getting Lost Origin at. No, I would not be getting Lost Origin at $130. You can get Lost Origin so much cheaper elsewhere. What I recommend, Tanner, is go into the Facebook Marketplace group with the Safari Zone. Safari Zone has a Facebook Marketplace group. Or go just other Facebook Marketplace groups and literally join them and then just be like, hey, I'm looking for Lost Origin booster box. Best price gets my money. And that tends to work. You can probably find it for cheaper, closer to 110, 115, even, you know, maybe as high as 120 at most. You should be getting it for way cheaper. Utilize the internet. Internet's going to be way better than buying local. What's up, Jason? Good to see you, brother. And what's up, other Jason? Do you often see big cards in the same set switch spots in terms of cost often? Well, it's hard to say, honestly, Jason, just because we are technically at pre-release. So we're really just in the, pre-release, obviously, for these cards just coming out. We don't even have pictures for these cards. So, time is really going to tell ultimately with this one. And I would say after pre-release, it happens sometimes, right? Like you had Machamp go from being one of the cheaper cards to the most expensive one in Astral Radiance, for example. Is there any other set I can think of where something like that happened? Maybe in Chilling Reign? I could be wrong. No, Blaziken's always been the most expensive one. I mean, did the Moltres ever become the most expensive at one point? I can't remember. It doesn't happen that often. Not unless it's like a buyout. How do you do for Paldea? How did you do for Paldea? I did pretty well. I think my value came out to $3 a pack was what my average EV was when I opened the week of release. Or no, that was the week after release. I'm sorry. That was the week after release. I did. That's how much I did. So I did pretty good. No, it was actually 2 weeks after release is how I did that, because I got all my packs from Building Battles. Because I wanted to open Paldea Building Battles and then also open Paldea packs from Trainer Toolkits. That's where I got it from. So that's why I was opening them. So $3 was the average I was getting at the time. Confused why cards like Chilling Reigns has tanked down below the Zapdos when it was ahead of its time for a long period of time. The Zeraora card's a cool card, but I think it's more or less has to do with the appreciation for the Zapdos card as a Roadrunner, and I think it's less to do with the Zeraora card being bad and more to do with the now appreciation for the Zapdos. Groudon doesn't have texture, which is a huge drawback. They dropped the ball on that. I would personally chase Garchomp if no hat. Dang, I didn't realize there wasn't going to be a texture. Really? It's interesting. The Rika SAR. Oh, let's actually, speaking of places to check out pricing, let's go to Pokedata. Yeah, it's going to probably ask me to log in, so I'm actually going to wait a second here. All right, let's take a look. So if we go Raging Surf and look at interesting. Well, it looks like the PSA 10 last sold for 152. You're talking the Rika. This is obviously for Raging Surf. Still have yet to have the other Japanese set listed on here, so we'll have to see what that's going to look like. You know, Sergio, I will talk about this more after stream, because there have been a couple of people that are like, listen, I still want to see if I can sell it because I can make margins even if it's not 87 versus 90. So the real problem is, Sergio, now is the anticipation to get the product by release date is no longer possible. And that's what I get most concerned about, because I already put in the order for the product to ship, and so I could add more. It just wouldn't come by release date at this time, and I just know that that's a breaker for a lot of people. So I could try and see about doing it, but people would have to be okay with that. I know, but this guaranteed not resale and resale really scary to me. I just can't deal with that. I would love for that advice, though, on the case of fusion of LO. But the problem is, Tanner, is that it's so easy for you to find people that don't like resell their cases. You have multiple different options here. One, you can go to these Facebook groups, right, that have multiple different people that can, verify them, is extremely important. Two, they're not fishy, because when you ask for pictures of the product, they send you legit pictures. It's not pixelated. It's not fake. It's not whatever. And then, they have, like I said, references. And then 3 as well, you use PayPal gifts and services, which allows you to be protected in case you are going to be getting a resale product. And usually if they're not shady about it and they're open, transparent, a lot of times you'll be able to tell off the bat if this person is legit or not. I have bought in product many a times on Facebook Marketplace, and so far I have yet to be scammed. And you're going to be saving yourself so much more money doing it. That way, you just can't be dumb. And that's the thing, is if you're asking me the question of which one would I prefer, it depends on pricing, right? LO, I do, technically speaking, like better. I just don't like the idea of you paying $130 for LO. That feels so high. I feel like you get it cheaper elsewhere right now. Do you think we'll see Black Friday sales for 151 product other than UPCs? Yes. Yep, we're going to be getting Crown Zenith Black Friday specials. I actually have someone that messaged me on Instagram that works at Walmart, and they informed me that they have some product that they got for Crown Zenith of the Pikachu collection boxes. They got some of them in, and they're going to be specifically used for Black Friday. So I don't know what the pricing is and what that's going to be, but that I know at least has been confirmed so far. What's up, Swirly Glass? Hopefully all is well with you. Right, but the Groudon is not an SAR either. The Groudon is also an illustration, or sorry, the Tyranitar is not an illustration rare either. The Tyranitar is just a regular is just going to be a regular. So in theory, that shouldn't be textured either, right? Because literally, this is just a regular illustration rare, right? But it's not a special illustration rare in the same way. So neither, because illustration rare and illustration rare, neither of these should have been textured. Was there an error in Tyranitar was textured when it shouldn't have been? I guess that's what I'm confused by. Funny enough, I actually never pulled the Tyranitar. It was the only card I have yet to pull from Paldea. So I actually don't know that answer. Or did I pull the Tyranitar? I might have pulled it, but not for myself at least. I can't remember. Pull rates stay the same for 151. Wouldn't the top SAR singles be long-term play as well as sealed? If pull rates stay the same for 151, wouldn't the top SAR singles be a long-term play as well as sealed? I mean, in theory, yes, but you still want to wait until prices drop, right? Because there's going to be so much UPC product coming out for 151 and other product But yes, I think that it could be a good play to have some singles for 151 for sure. Gonna celebrate at 7K? I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't really celebrate for 6K. I did celebrate for 5K because 5K felt like a big mark. I think, if anything, I know for 100% certainty I'm going to celebrate at 10K. But I don't know if I'm going to celebrate at 7K. Yeah, I agree, Forrest. I mean, Jacob, that's pretty speculative. 2 years is not a long time. I would be surprised. I don't think that's going to happen at all, because let's take a set that actually is 2 years old, right? And is arguably a really prime candidate for being a set that should be $15 a pack. That's going to be Celebrations. And Celebrations packs right now, let's see, what are they going for? Celebration packs are selling for $724. And this set is now 2 years old as of a couple weeks ago. So I don't think 151 is going to perform better than Celebrations, especially as well because Celebrations was a set that is a 25th anniversary set. Like, this is a specialty set that is a, you know, once in a 5-year span type feel set. So it just doesn't really make sense to me that it would perform that well in a 2-year span, especially too, we don't know what's going to happen in the economy. So I mean, you can maybe argue in 5+ years it could be a 15 pack set, but I think Celebrations has to get there first before we can even talk about 151 and what it's going to be. Right, but I'm not talking restock as a chase. I'm just talking about the value of the card. At the end of the day, whether you like the card as a chase because of it having texture, at the end of the day, if the card has value to it, then it's going to be considered a chase card. Magikarp doesn't have texture to it, but it's still one of the main chase cards. If not, I think I will go safe because it's like at most $100 less. That'd be worth it to me. The guaranteed or not resale. I don't even want to small it out. Like I said, Tanner, okay, here's the deal, man. You can do whatever you want. Obviously, at the end of the day, like, it's your choice. If you want to do that, then sure, that's totally fine. But I can just tell you, you know, from my own personal experience, I have yet to receive a resale product. And I've spent $20,000, $30,000, $40,000+ worth of product on Facebook Marketplace groups. So I think in my entire time of purchasing product, just period, Pokemon related, I have received once or twice maybe resale product. Once on Mercari, once on eBay, maybe. But it was one of those things where I already anticipated it was going to be resaled. And so I just took a risk based on the fact that the price was the price that it was with the seller rating, because seller ratings are obviously something people pay attention to. And sometimes it's truly a new account and I can get a cheap rate, and sometimes it's just a scammer, but I'm protecting myself knowing that it's a scammer. So I think Celebration products better than specialty sets like 151, because also Sword and Shield era sets in them too. That's a good point as well. The fact that Trainer Gallery V's and up are textured make the feel underrated. I bought this booster box from Pokémon USA. I only had one alt art in it. Must have been resealed. You know, I do be scamming kids these days. I make sure that if you ever buy from me, you only get one SIR. No more. I weigh the packs by hand because I just can do that. I just have that kind of magical power. No, right? Hey, I've got a lot of positive experiences. Thank you very much. I actually had someone message me on TCG Player once about that. They were upset because they thought their product was resealed because they opened a case that they had bought from me. And they were like, I only got 2 gold cards and 1 alternate art. And that was it. Like, I can't remember what it was, but it was something where it was like so crazy to think. It was just like, dude, you just got bad luck. Like, that's not even that crazy of bad luck either. Like, that's what? Jacob says, I'm personally buying everything while fear is in the market. You think that Celebrations is trash, though? That's crazy. I'm not the biggest fan of Celebrations, but to call it trash, I think is a massive hot take. The only people that think it's trash are the people that don't like the set because there's no valuable cards because it was printed like crazy. It's like saying Evolutions as a whole is a trash set because all the cards in the set are cheap, yet it's in a $1,000 booster. That's what matters at the end of the day. You can like the set or not, but ultimately it's a set that's going to perform extremely well long term. You know, and that's the reality of the situation. Hey, I'm not the biggest Evolutions fan, but can I appreciate the set and understand why it's at $1,000? Oh yeah. Same thing goes with Celebrations. Kind of like what happened with Generations. There's a difference between understanding whether you like the set or not and whether the set is actually bad. I think those are two separate things. You know, because Celebrations, do I care to open it? Not really. No. Is it my favorite set? No. But is it a set that I think is arguably an amazing set that people really love and have an appreciation for, and the value of it's going to perform really well long term? Heck yeah. Matthew says, Eli, whatever happened to you getting that V-Star Universe restock? Dude. You're asking me questions, the things that happened so long ago. I can't even answer that. That's so crazy. I mean, this was literally it probably was right before the wedding, and I must have missed it. I don't know, dude. It's hard. It's hard to remember. Yeah, man, I can't remember that. That's for sure. I wish I could answer that question. What else is going on of any notable worth in the current market right now? Taking a look at just trending, obviously Paradox Rift we already talked about. It's been doing decent. I mean, value's gone up a little bit. Paldea's just doing what Paldea's doing. Where are we with the Crown Zenith value, especially considering it's going to get reprinted? It's gone down a little bit for sure. I mean, it's $57. It's not really gone down that much actually yet. We'll go down sooner than later though. Brilliant? Is Brilliant doing anything crazy? Oh, it's actually gone down a little bit. I think last time I saw it was 144, so it's gone down. Has Chilling Rain really done anything crazy? I mean, it's at 151. It's like there's a decent amount that I bought out recently at 142 to increase the price of Chilling. Trading Card Game Classic. Love that. Jeez Louise, look at the price of this. When does this come out again? It comes out in 12/29. Dang, that's insane. Oh, what an insane item. Hidden Fate CTB still doing what Hidden Fate CTBs do best. Can't really say there's anything of note that's like crazy going on in the market in terms of prices going up or down. I don't think that's right though, Jacob. In terms of everyone sleeping on Lost Origin, Lost Origin was one of the best performing sets in the Sword and Shield era by far. It was either the second or third best performing set. The only reason why the price dropped has nothing to do with people sleeping on it. It has to do with the fact that it got a reprint. Now, maybe you could say that people are sleeping on it thereafter the reprint, but I think there's just a decent enough supply where the prices have stayed down a little bit. But it wouldn't surprise me if it'll continue to climb up here in the next year or so, because it's a good set. A lot of people love it. I mean, it's argued as the second or third best booster box set in the Sword and Shield era. So I think it's just right where it belongs. Just give V-Star from Pandas. Definitely Alfred is right on that one. Have you sold enough product to buy a bed? No more sleeping on booster boxes? Nah, dude. Beds are expensive. I can't afford that. I sleep on Battle Academies at night. Dude. You do whatever you want with your Pikachu hat. Right now, that card's going for $100+. It wouldn't be a bad idea to cash out now. But it also wouldn't be a bad idea to hold on to it. But if this ends up being one of these things where... I mean, okay, so I need some enlightenment on what's going on with the hat for the Pikachu, right? Is this a card that is still currently available on the Pokemon Center website, or did they do like a lottery by email like they did previously? Because does everyone remember the special delivery Charizard and how that happened? Are we getting a similar situation, or is this different? Such an easy pick. You've got 9 of them. Did you get them by ordering on the website or? No, the problem is they didn't do the email lottery. Not available, lots of cancels, lots of orders canceled, nothing like the Zard. There was no promo code emailed. It was just on the site for a small window of time, and then they instantly sold out. And you were able to get 9 of them. Hey, shout out to you for not getting cancellations. Yeah, I don't, you know, it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen with the card. I mean, the worst thing that could happen for you is if they reprint it and they do another drop, then the prices tank. And if you see something like that happen, then definitely might be a good idea to flash sell. But I mean, it's not going to like hurt, I guess, if you hold right now, right? I don't think prices are ultimately just going to just tank. But I could be wrong, obviously. We know how volatile things are. What are the top 3 alt-arts in Sword Shield era worth picking up for the price for potential growth? I mean, here's the deal. That's all comes down to personal opinion on whether you like the card or not. That's the big thing. I think that the Sandaconda... No, I'm just kidding. Here's the thing. This is just me personally, right? People can disagree with me all they want, but I think that the Celebi... I mean, oh no, the price is the price going up? Oh no. Oh no, it was cheap, and then I had to mention it. I was going to say I think the Celebi art is cheap, but it looks like it's already gone up again recently. Love that. I mean, I guess it's still technically cheap, but it's not as cheap as I was wanting it to be. I think that's a good one of reference to look at. I think the Empoleon artwork, where's that one at? Man, look at this card, just tank. I think this is one that's arguably going to do well long term, especially considering how cheap it's gotten. I think it's kind of crazy how cheap it is. Tyranitar stayed pretty strong. I don't think that card's really going anywhere. Let's take a look at Chilling. Can't really say there's anything in Chilling here that kind of stands out. I mean, you could argue that... I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think that some of these cards will definitely be more expensive in the future. I think the Galarian Birds are definitely pretty quote-unquote cheap in the grand scheme of things, considering they could probably be worth more in the future, but it's not like sticking out to me, right? I've talked about this a lot with Brilliant. I definitely think that the Charizard and the Arceus are way too cheap. That is insane to me that this is a card that's going for $23. Remember when this card was going for $100? This is way too cheap a card to be worth $22. Insane how undervalued it is. I mean, and a Charizard alternate art, which it looks like it's just, I mean, look at just the descent on this card being around $100. I mean, there's some value with alternate arts, guys. Looking at Lost Origin, is there anything in Lost Origin that makes me feel... I mean, I'm a huge fan of this card, but I don't think it's gone down because it's being slept on. I think it's just gone down because there's been more supply. Yeah, I would say those are the main ones I'm thinking. Thinking the Celebi, the Empoleon, the Charizard, and the Arceus are the main four. They won't. They announced October 31st will be the last drop. However, they sold out on the 17th. That was the last drop notice. However, it's only going up now. I mean, you never know, man. That's all I can say. Remember when we had our last drop for Celebrations product and then we got 2 more last drops for Celebrations product? I don't really trust the Pokemon Company in that regard. Moonbreon is dropping. That I will be interested to look at. I would be interested to see if the Moonbreon is indeed dropping. Oh, wow. Yeah, Moonbreon has taken a little bit of a dive. Going from the high point of 600-ish. And now we're seeing some listings in the 4s. Hey, there you go. Have other of these items been dropping? Yeah, but not as much as the Moonbreon. Oof. That's pretty decent drop too. It's good to know that some cards are finally dropping. I like that, though. How do you see the future of evolutions as a set? Kind of just slowly going up in value and sideways over time. It could have more explosive growth, but I think it already had its explosive growth period. I think it'll probably be seen as like another base set for Modern, and it'll end up eventually performing really well once we see our next boom of Pokemon, but until then it's going to go sideways and up. Hey, shout out to Forrest. That's some good luck. What are the best products to invest in, Shinda says? Well, if you watch the video, the ones that I like the most are... You know what's actually funny? Tanner was also asking me which I like the most. If you watch my video, that has the answer. Lost Origin, Silver Tempest boosters. I like those a lot. Crown Zenith ETBs. I'm going to like the UPCs when those prices go down. And then the Charizard UPC as well. I think those were the 5, if I'm correct. What's the plan for content going forward? Any new direction? The only direction is that... I've talked about this already before, but I don't want to subject myself to just Pokemon. Can we get your thoughts on the 151 stamp promos? Are you talking about the PC ETB one? Or wait, when you say stamp promos, is there one in particular? There's gonna be another boom? Well, yeah, there's always gonna be another boom. That's how it is. You're always gonna have your ups and you're always gonna have your downs. And right now, Pokemon's going to be experiencing its downs, and then eventually it'll have its ups again. Oh man, my take on Korean Pokemon cards, I don't really have a strong take on it. I try and stay away from Korean Pokemon cards just because I'm just not... I mean, that's a whole different ball game, man. I stick mainly to English. I know a little bit about Japanese, but not nearly as much as people like SM Pratt and other guys. I do have ups and downs. Is Sword and Shield going to blow up like Sun and Moon in 1 year's time, or what's the time frame? I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but it would not surprise me if Sword and Shield did blow up in the next 3 to 5 years. Next year, I think, is way too soon, considering that literally we still have cards in the Sword and Shield era in rotation. But once they go out of rotation, then we can start talking about potential gains. But even then, so I think it's going to take longer because we're not going to have the expedited, bubble that we had because of COVID. Bring on the One Piece cards, Flubvosaurus says, right? Everyone's talking about One Piece all the time. No, I more talk about Magic because I'm lame like that. I'm boring. I talk about Magic. You can't blame me, though. Magic's pretty cool. Do you have any sealed team-up product? I do not. Most of what I have in terms of sealed product that's not modern is what you see behind me in the background. Most of the modern sealed product I have is tons and tons and tons of Lost Storage and boosters, because I'm a huge fan of that. And then in the background, you'll see a lot of my personal collection, which is stuff in the Diamond and Pearl era. But other than that, I mean, I'm not like crazy on picking up a lot of Sun and Moon product. Like, I understand there's money to be made there, but for myself, it was not something that really drew my attention. I'm not going to go in and buy a product that's so expensive as much as it is. Like, maybe one day I'll get it, but I think Team Up, although it's a great set, it's ridiculous how I think it's overvalued. Could be wrong. Is Magic not dying? Is Pokemon not dying? Everything's dying from a certain point of view. Just all hyperboles. What's my take on Evolving Skies booster boxes? I think that as long as there's not going to be a reprint for it, then it'll just go sideways and up. But I don't know, man. I think it's going to get reprinted. I know this sounds like a hot take. I think Evolving Skies still has a chance of getting reprinted. I could be wrong. I could be so off. I could be so wrong. This is it. No more Evolving Skies. But I think the Pokemon Company is watching the current market right now, and they're saying to themselves, man, if we want to do a reprint for some cards or some product, we're going to need to find something that we can sell to move it. That item might be Evolving Skies. Imagine they do a massive Scarlet and Violet booster box reprint, and in order for you to get an Evolving Skies booster, you had to pick up one reprinted Obsidian and one reprinted Paldea box. You could see something like that happening. 100%. It would not surprise me. That would not surprise me at all. Any potential reprints in the woodworks? I saw someone post a Walmart drop on ETBs recently. I mean, the only ones that we have in the works right now is just Crown Zenith. Crown Zenith is the only one that's confirmed ETB reprint. But that's about it, as far as I know. Department store. What's your take on Magic Lord of the Rings Special Collection Edition? I think it's going to perform fairly well. I think anything Lord of the Rings so far has been kind of a hit. I know obviously the set boxes are not as up to par as we would like, but I think that the special collector's editions are going to do well. I don't even know who that is. I have never heard of that guy's name. Why would they reprint ST before ES? Makes no sense. Same reason why the Pokemon Company has done many, many things in the past. It never is supposed to make sense. Also, probably because the Pokemon Company tends to do things where they go backwards a lot rather than forwards. So, like, for example, why would the Pokemon Company reprint Darkness Ablaze booster boxes and Vivid Voltage booster boxes before the ETBs, when the ETB price at the time was worth more than the booster boxes? Why would the Pokemon Company reprint sets such as Fusion Strike and Battle Styles and Lost Origin, or not, sorry, and Chilling Reign before Darkness Ablaze boosters, right? Doesn't make sense. They're older. Or why would the Pokemon Company reprint, sets such as Astral Radiance and Brilliant Star before Lost Origin Silver Tempest? Because they're newer, right? Like there's been so many different multiples examples just within the past 2 years of the Pokemon Company just printing how they feel like it's fit to do. There's multiple examples of it being different. Sometimes they print older first, sometimes they print newer first, sometimes they print one product over another first. There's no rhyme or rhythm to it, but that's just how the Pokemon Company is. So yeah, it just makes sense that they would do something like that, because that's exactly what the Pokemon Company did with Lost Origin Silver Tempest. They wanted to move Silver Tempest Build and Battle Stadiums, and they wanted to move Scarlet and Violet boosters. So they made a big old bundle deal about it. And that's what ended up happening. So Astral Radiance and Brilliant Stars, when they did a reprint of that, well, it was a pretty tiny reprint, so they didn't really have much to attach it to. So Evolving Skies is the only set I can go into Walmart and sell it for 30. Yeah. Do you think Sword and Shield alt arts will be like Gold Stars in the future? I don't know what you mean by that. I guess in the terms of like, can they be seen as a popular item that's very specific to a certain generation? Yes, but also no, because Sun and Moon. I think they'll do really well long term. Bulbasaur, Charmander, Snorlax, and Squirtle stamp cards. I think they'll do just fine. Obviously, it's going to take some time before you see immense growth, but I mean, to my knowledge, they've been performing pretty well, yes? It's been a while since I've looked at them. You know more than me for sure. Just crazy to think they go older software and reload it all to print it again. But the thing is, that thin line is, it's not a matter of it going like older versus newer. It's a matter of like the Pokemon Company has things preloaded year or two in advance. The Pokemon Company, what they tend to do is they tend to make predictions based off of what's going on, hoping that that trend is going to at least last them for a certain period of time, right? It's kind of like what we've seen so many Charizards. I know a lot of people are getting sick of the Charizards, as so am I. But the reason why we're seeing it happen is because the Pokemon Company took a look at what was performing extremely, extremely well going back to XY era, Sun and Moon era, and then Sword and Shield era. It was the Charizards. And they knew that they could really kind of pump that out and squeeze the most out of it. Now, does that necessarily mean that they're not going to be printing as much Charizards in the next year? Well, no, that's not more or less what I'm saying. What I am saying is that the Pokemon Company has started to do significantly more with the Charizards most recently since arguably, I would say, the back end of the Sun and Moon era. And since then, it's kind of gone up. And I think that's a trend that they've continued to run until it dries out, but they have to do so, years in advance, right? When it comes to the value of set releases. So the Pokemon Company, what they can only do so much is predict that certain sets are going to perform better than others in a certain drastic extent, to the point of where they now have to go back and say, wow, this set performed so much better than we anticipated. We need to now go back and print it, right? Because they can only predict so much. And not to mention as well, with that, we do know that there is one thing that the Pokemon Company can do, which is take product that they know that isn't performing well, right? And they can wait or hold off on releasing specific already printed product and announce reprints for it that have already been products already like become printed, but hold off on releasing it until it's time for them to finish printing up what modern product they have, right? So it's less of a matter of, hey, and this is all hypothetical, right? We're talking tinfoil hat theory stuff. It's less of a matter of, hey, does the Pokemon Company potentially have things such as Evolving Skies and other Sword and Shield era boxes reprinted? And more of a question of, do they have it reprinted already, but they're just waiting to bundle it with an item that they know they're going to struggle to move? And so they're just waiting to pull the trigger, because it's entirely possible that's kind of what happened with Lost Origin Silver Tempest. It makes me believe, because Lost Origin Silver Tempest were quote-unquote short printed, it makes me believe that it wasn't that the sets were short printed. It was more or less that the Pokemon Company believed that the sets were going to perform well. And once they realized that they could announce another wave of it to come out when Sword and Shield era was going to go out of rotation as a potential tie-in to Scarlet and Violet product, maybe foreseeing that they weren't going to perform well based off of historical patterns, it's entirely possible that that's their play. But, this is all once again hypothetical. These are just thoughts that I'm throwing out on a table. These have no validity to it. So, don't get mad at me and be like, Eli, I can't believe you're saying this is what's happening. Like, no, it's just a thought. It's just a thought. They need to make an Evolution Starter Legendary set only. Give Ho-Oh a number of altars. That would be insane. It's funny, Jacob. I think, honestly, the biggest missed opportunity that, although Silver Tempest has done well, and I understand, maybe for the sake of the Pokemon Company, they're like, oh, we don't need to, throw this all into one set. But, I mean, man, imagine they put a Ho-Oh alternate art in the Silver Tempest set. Like, how that would have performed. If they reprint Evolving Skies, would they reprint only the ETBs or the boosters as well? I don't know the trends, so I'm asking, how about Pokemon Center? So typically speaking, there's no correlation to one over the other. The Pokemon Company just usually prints how they want to print, right? We had, obviously, reprints for booster boxes of Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze, which, to be fair, did follow with reprints of ETBs for both, but we also had reprints for Sword and Shield base ETBs, but never had a reprint for Sword and Shield boosters. So there's instances in when, oh, this did lead to something, and instances when no, it didn't lead to. It's kind of difficult. There's not really a real trend to it. That's a funny question, department store. Pokemon Master, obviously. They will not accept returns. Wow. Talk about scummy. I did not even know that part. I did hear about the other stuff, but that's crazy. Wow. That's messed up. So for that bundling, where do they usually sell normally? So how it works, Carl, is that the Pokemon Company is just basically passing along the bundle deals. So what they'll end up doing is they'll announce to distributors, hey, just letting you guys know we're doing a bundle deal. And then they'll pass that information on to distributors. And then if the distributors want that specific product that's going to be high demand, they will have to purchase it within the bundle deal. Next, then the distributors will take that bundle deal, they'll pass it on to retailers, and then from there the retailers will then pass it on to the consumers in whichever way they find fit. That's why, if you notice, when it came to Lost Origin Silver Tempest, there was a lot of different ways in which people were going about it, right? Some people were selling a premium for Lost Origin Silver Tempest boosters, but then selling them without any sort of attachment. Some people were selling them at a massive discount, but you had to buy other product with it. Everyone had their own unique way of how they're doing it, but it's pretty one-to-one replicable from how Pokemon just gives a bundle, and then distributors, to my knowledge, just kind of pass that bundle on. It's really just on the retailer to decide how they want to go about bundling it or not bundling it. I commented on it briefly, Wrath, but I didn't get into like I didn't know that there weren't canceling refunds. That's insane to me. So what's up, man? You said you're going to open up the wholesale tiers on the 1st now. Is there a time frame set for that? I want to sign up, but I don't have or want Discord. If I'm being 100% honest, Bob, you're going to need to have Discord if you're going to want to be in the program, because although we're going to have the website open and you're going to sign up for the program on the website, the program predominantly is going to still have a lot of involvement in the Discord. I guess in theory, it's just difficult, because here's the thing, right? Obviously, with the current system we have set up right now, everything's run on Sheets, and so it's you have to, as of now, be in the Discord, no questions asked, right? But we're no longer going to be running everything on Sheets once we get a website built. The problem still with that, though, is that doesn't take away from the fact of the matter that the program has so much value that you're going to be able to get out of it, from the fact that there's going to be other people that you can have conversations with in the program that will tell you what's the best items to buy and kind of get people's ideas. And then also as well, we need to find a way to constantly give people up-to-date announcements on what's going on, because I get bombarded with messages, which is why I'm like, just please read the announcements. And so for myself, I can't just be spamming people with emails. It just makes it a lot easier for me to run it all through Discord. So Discord, I mean, it takes 3 minutes to download, and if you're not interested in being in anything other than a Discord for the specific program, all you have to do is just leave notifications on, and anytime you hear a dinging noise, that means I send a notification. It's super easy, low maintenance download. Like, it's not something that it's like super complicated to know how to use or not. Sir says, hi, I live in Bellevue, Washington, and the Pokemon vending machines here still have Evolving Skies packs for MSRP. Do you think it's worth to buy some packs, even if it's not a booster box? Big time. Evolving Skies is selling for like $7-8 a pack. So, oh yeah, definitely worth it. Which, speaking of which, they're actually bringing some more vending machines out. They just announced they were going to be releasing some, and guess where they're going? They're going to Arizona. Let's go. I'm excited about that. Wrath said, I saw there was something still mad about Astral not having the Darkrai Cresselia alt art. I know, and a lot of people are like, well, Eli, it did get an alt art with the V-Star Darkrai. No, they should have done at least a V alt art. That doesn't make sense. Why not have a V Darkrai and, V Cresselia alt art? What a missed opportunity. So many missed opportunities. I think that's the problem, is the Pokemon Company has so many missed layups that they just are like, yeah, we're just not going to do that. Like, I just think of all the different sets where they could have done amazing, changes, right? I think with Astral Radiance, they missed a layup by adding a Darkrai alternate art and adding a Cresselia alternate art. I think Lost Origin. Lost Origin was honestly fine. I can't say there's any particular thing that they missed a layup on. But Silver Tempest, man, what a missed layup. That was such a missed opportunity. I would say that they could have totally taken advantage of. I mean, is there really one in particular I would say Lost Origin really missed on? You could argue that they could have done a Goodra alternate art or a Kyurem alternate art, but I don't think it would have changed the set entirely, But yeah, just so many missed slam dunks. Oh, that's a good point. That's why you always purchase with credit cards, ladies and gentlemen. Just be responsible, please. Financially responsible. Don't spend beyond your means. Yeah, see, restock, that is the exact logic that made sense to me. I said to myself, it's the ETB artwork. Why would you not have an alternate art version of that Pokemon? That makes no sense to me. That's funny. Bob. Yay, Bob. Let's go. And trust me, dude, it is, I mean, Discord, I love Discord. Discord is fantastic. And it is unlike any other, I guess, if you want to call it social media piece, social networking piece. I love it a lot. It's fantastic. And it's super easy to use once you figure it out. Did 151 second wave already hit? I got a couple of booster bundles from my local shop today, located in the Bay Area, by the way. It's hard to say. I know some distributors that I have been opening up to more product availability, but I don't know if that's because of leftovers or it's because of reprints. I would like to believe it's more so leftovers than reprints. So that's kind of my thoughts. Thoughts on vintage. I think the only people that like... I think only the people with vintage like it. Modern cards are, as far as arts go, are great. I feel YouTubers hype vintage a lot more, and people took the bait. I think vintage has less to do with I think that if you're someone that's new to the hobby, you can still appreciate vintage. But I think vintage, there's a large portion of it that is truly built upon the hype that people bring with the nostalgic feeling that they have, right? I, from one, and I'll be honest, right? And I will be straight up upfront with you guys on the reality of it, which is taking away how I feel about something versus the truth of something, right? These two things can exist at once. I think that the problem is when people start to mash them together, then it tends to lead with bias, which is not what I ever want to I never want to be that way. So the point in me prefacing with all this is my favorite generation and my favorite sets come from the Diamond and Pearl era. I think that the Diamond and Pearl era, in my heart of hearts, in the Platinum era, it's my favorite, right? I love it. It's amazing, fantastic. However, if we were to look back and say from generation to generation, which sets, or specifically which era of Pokemon has some of the worst art designs or some of the worst, sets, it's Diamond and Pearl era is up there, right? Now, maybe if you consider, the Heart Gold, Soul Silver era, Call Legends, Platinum series into that, it's definitely going to be better than the XY era, but it's not like Sword and Shield era big, right? It's just one that I love. But there are some great sets. I will say that. As someone who does love some of the amazing... And see, that's the thing, is people might not like these arts because they look at alternate arts and they think that's way cooler. But I look at some of these art designs and I say, man, Call of Legends, what an amazing set. How gorgeous are a lot of these cards. Or I go and look at it and I say, man, these legend cards are so sick. I absolutely love the Darkrai and Cresselia cards. Super duper cool looking, right? Some people might say you only like it because it's nostalgic, and that could be 100% true, right? And that's the difference, right? Because level X's, a lot of people didn't care for level X's. They thought level X's were boring, bland. No one really cared. I liked them because I grew up with them. Arceus cards, I love Arceus cards. Such a cool concept for Pokemon. So, lots of love, but also a lot to not love. I don't think if there are any in Florida. Not 100% certain. Hot take, Pokemon Oak is a crappy professor. He said only 151. There's like 1,000. What an idiot. He played himself. Thoughts on Celebrations UPC? It's expensive. I wouldn't be picking it up right now, but maybe that's just me. Think Lost Origin needs tops. Hot take. That would be sick. I think that would have been cool. I mean, dude, come on. Let's be real here. There are so many cool ideas that we could all add on to that they missed out on. It's so upsetting. Do you think LO will reprint? Also, can you let me know a little about LO and SF reprint history and maybe some general things about reprints? So LO just got a reprint. So to answer your question, yes, it did get a reprint. Reprint history beyond that is it was expected to be a short printed set, and then we got a reprint most recently. Fusion Strike got a massive print out the gate and then a massive second wave, which technically speaking, it kind of is a reprint, but not really a reprint because they just had so much more product available at release compared to other sets. So it just depends on how you want to look at it. But, you know, it's hard to say which has had more prints, but we can say that Lost Origin obviously had, you know, in theory, wave 1 and a wave 2 spread out versus Fusion had it all at once. All right, folks, so I usually go to about 2:30. Obviously, I started a little bit later, so I've been running a little over, but we're going to wrap things up in the next 5 minutes. So I'll be answering all questions until then, but don't forget to leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. It helps the channel and enters you into the giveaways. How many classic collections have you been allocated? 4? No, we got allocated 40. I 1000% agree, Wrath. I love that as a concept. That's why Arceus is one of my favorite sets. At this point, any Sword and Shield reprint should be a small one, right? No, no. Lost Origin Silver Tempest was a fairly big reprint. I mean, I was able to get so many cases of boosters, and so were a lot of people in the program. Just the matter of the fact was you had to buy it in bundles. Hey, no worries, man. If they keep doing Halloween sets every year, think first year will we see some gains? Well, I don't know, because I mean, would you consider that we've done? I don't think we've done Halloween sets. Are you saying that because you consider Paradox to be a Halloween set? I don't think LO will print in the future. I think Fusion Strike pretty unlikely as well. Heard. Hey, I'm just glad to have you here now, man. You can always rewind, obviously. That's why. I always love, obviously, the questions when people come in. But if you miss asking a question, you can always at least have it answered on the next stream. Trick or trade sets? Oh, I see what you mean. That's a good question. I think it could totally happen. It would not actually. Yeah, I think the packs could totally do well. It would not surprise me because there is going to be some collectability to that. Of course, Forrest. Hey, I appreciate that. Which do you think will go out of stock first, LO or FS? Oh, FS for sure. But that's because FS didn't just recently have a reprint like LO. Do you think they will do another run of the Van Gogh Pikachus before the 31st? I think that it's possible. However, we have no sort of any sort of information alluding to that as of now. So I would say it's possible, but at this point unlikely. But you know, Pokemon. Time to invest in that truck. The trucker trade? What's a trucker trade? When do you think FS will run out? I mean on PC? I couldn't tell you, Tanner. I don't really follow PC that much because they're not really indicative of the market. Pokemon Center just has whatever the Pokemon Center has. Most of the time when it comes to my purchases, Tanner, most of them are done through Facebook Marketplace groups, eBay, TCG Player, my distributor, Mercari sometimes, but very rarely. And then other websites that have reputability, Forge and Fire, Safari Zone, Game Nerds, stuff, places like that, right? Pokemon Center website, they're going to sell it to you at MSRP, which is overpriced. So it would not surprise me if it stuck around for a bit still. But you never know, because there's been times where booster boxes for Brilliant Stars went all the way up to $200 a booster almost, and people were not buying them on the Pokemon Center website for $144 when it was still in stock. So it's always funny to see how most people don't really pay attention to buying product on it unless it's like older product. How many times do they reprint sets on average? Well, it's hard to say, honestly, because it changes. There's nothing definitive. And I mean, not to mention, too, things have been so different because of COVID, right? I would say that it's usually pretty common that you usually get at least one reprint with a set, sometimes two, depending upon the demand. Is it easy to start an online store, or how do I have to get 6K subs? So you start an OnlyFans where you sell feet pics. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like that's a troll question. It's not hard to start an online store, though. It's hard to get product. That's the biggest problem. Product availability and distribution availability is the problem. So then should FS get a reprint? Because it's only had one. Well, like I said, Tanner, in all actuality, okay, so and this will be the last point that I'm going to make. So typically speaking, how it worked during the Sun and Moon era and the XY era is that the Pokemon Company would have you put in pre-orders for a specific product, and then they would, or your distributor would have you put in orders for a specific product. They would take that numbers to the Pokemon Company. The Pokemon Company would print that amount and send it back to people, right? Then what ended up happening during COVID was the demand for Pokemon got so high that the Pokemon Company needed time to be able to print product. So what they did was they came up with the wave system, where you had releases in 1, 2, or 3 waves. Right? Predominantly, it was usually 2 to 3 waves is what happened. So battle styles, for example, first wave, you got like 45 boosters. Second wave, you got like 45 boosters. Third wave, you got like 10 boosters. Obviously, this changed depending upon how big of an account you were, what distributor you're with, et cetera, et cetera. But that was usually how it went, right? So what happened was you saw this happen with Vivid. Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, and Evolving, right? However, that system kind of stopped during Fusion and Brilliant, because what ended up happening was, although there was 2 waves for Fusion and Brilliant, they ended up actually all coming out at once. Fusion Strike had a wave that came basically the same week, and so the waves came early. And that's why I say that technically speaking, it had 1 wave, but it was actually 2 waves that got put into 1, right? And in terms of Fusion, right, you would consider that to be a 2-wave system, right? So technically speaking, it would be one of those sets where it could not surprise it doesn't get another reprint, right? Same kind of argument, obviously, to be made with Evolving, right? Evolving had 3 waves, and all 3 waves came out at once as well, at least with the distributor I had at the time, right? And then we got a reprint of it. So it's not only had its full 3-wave system, because after Evolving, it went to a 2-wave system, kind of. You get what I'm saying? Like, it went to a 2-wave on paper, but it kind of went really to a 1. And then it had a reprint in August of 2021, I think is when it had a reprint. So... But for me, I care less about how many reprints it's had, because ultimately at the end of the day, they could have gone back and reprinted Sword and Shield Base and Rebel Clash, but they never did. It comes down to the Pokemon Company's decisiveness in, do I think this could be something that is not going to destroy the value if we print it again, in terms of long term? Right? And also, do we need to reprint it? For example, Sword and Shield Base, Rebel Clash, these were booster boxes where although they could have done a reprint for it, the demand would have absolutely been horrific. People only were buying it at the high prices that they were at because there was such a short print of them based off of COVID, right? And supply chains having issues. Then you obviously kind of go into the question of, okay, well, how are we going to get product that has such competitively viable cards inside of them to be given out to people, right? Trainer toolkits, V boxes, and V League decks. That's a way where they don't have to reprint items, but they can still put out the intent of getting the competitive cards, which are predominantly in these two sets, out to people, right? And that's kind of what the Pokemon Company cared the most about. That's why, historically speaking, you haven't seen Pokemon sets reprinted outside of standard rotation. That's why standard rotation is an important thing to follow when looking at if something is going to be reprinted or not. Hey, what's up, department store? Add toys to wholesale. Thanks for the $5. Add toys to wholesale. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I would love to create the wholesale program to be including so many things on it, so much value that you could equate from it, right? So that's definitely something that I would love to consider in the future, but it's a baby step game right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end it here. I want to thank you guys all once again so much for watching. Hopefully you all have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, but until then, I will see you